I'm responding to how we should revolutionize the communities in 2021 for the better. What I wrote, I focused on points and things that would shape the black community and that would change the black community. I also wrote what role I would like to play in making that change and what it would look like in 2026. So I said, in order to revolutionize our communities for the better, we as a unit need to refocus our attention on these 3 points of the Black Panther 10-point program. I said that point 10 is we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control of modern technology. My reasoning for wanting that point and why it's important to me is because in this day, to have control over things our people use and are a part of is very important. I said that the African American community needs to have ownership. I would argue that in order to revolutionize the community, we have to have our own land, economy, education, and control over what we use in modern day technology. I would argue that the world has been built on the black people's back for so long that all we need to do is just stand up. Stop letting this game be played on us. And even though it's easier said than done, we really do have to find a way so that we are out of this game. And I had made a reference just like as Marcus Garvey, a black nationalist, he believed the separation of the races was right. And although people did not agree with him and it destroyed bonds between people, I think that if black people had our own, then things would go good. It could save our community. And this doesn't mean that we have to tie our connections and tie our connection to others or detach ourselves in a disrespectful way. We just have to focus on our community first instead of everyone else. I said point 9 is something that we need to refocus on in 2021. It is, we want freedom for all black and oppressed people now held in U.S. federal, state, county, city, and military prisons and jails. We want trials by a jury of peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the law of this country. I say this because our people have been held captive for a long time to a system that is unjust. There's still institutional racism, and the new Jim Crow is still present in 2021. I said that we can get freedom for our brothers and sisters still locked up. When we get freedom for our brothers and sisters locked up for crimes that are now decriminalized or crimes that white people would not be charged for, the world, I would argue that the world would be a better place. If we had community programs to help those people that have been locked up, or black people that have been locked up, I think it would be beneficial to the community because those people might need mental help, mental therapy. I would argue that it should be in the people's duty and responsibility to help each other get help, whether we know them or not, or whether they're personal to us or not. And I said point 3. We want to end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black and oppressed communities. I think this is very important because to this day we are oppressed. We are oppressed. We've been robbed. We've been swept under the rug, and no one has said anything about it. No one is taking authority to help us out. None of the white people, none of the government, none of that. So I said there needs to be a systematic plan that has been placed for decades, has robbed the black community and later generations of an opportunity that had potential to give our people economic advantage, because they never want us to have economic advantage. It is only right that the people who tortured us give us an apology, because words are not enough. We have built this country and have tolerated the oppression we continue to face this day. I will argue that the government is in debt to what they owe us now. And I believe we should have reparations. And if we do have reparations, it should be shared equally among the Black community. And I said that the role I will play in order to execute the outcome, or the expected outcome, will be making sure that I am educated myself, that I am prospering within myself, and not in a selfish way, but make sure that I'm educated so that I can educate other people, because I can't go out here and like preach and I'm not educated. So and not only to the older generations, but I would love to focus on the younger generations, because that's where change really happens. I would argue that mental health and self-growth is very important, and that would be my main focus, because if we're not right within ourselves, how can, or our family dynamics, or whatever's going on personally, how can we want to change a whole community? And I think that's overlooked too, because it's very important. If we can't help one in ourselves, then how can we help a full community? I would argue that trying to find what is holding us back, we need to have like programs that are kind of like therapy, that unite us, but are kind of like a therapy. And I said, like, trying to figure out the post-traumatic slave syndrome. Like, we all need to like really dissect that and understand what that I feel like every Black person needs to know what the post-traumatic slave syndrome is and why we are affected by it. I said I would love to be a leader and make a positive and real impact, making sure our people get what they need. We are striving for freedom because we are not yet free. If we are able to at least make an effort to accomplish these goals, and by goals I mean surfacing the 3 points that I said from the 10-point program, Black Panther 10-point program, I will argue that the mindset of the people would change. And by 2026, we will be closer to liberation. There would be more self-awareness, unity, no seeking validation from the white man and its counterparts, more Black businesses, positive impacts, better communities, and family dynamics in which children grow up in. And most importantly, emotional intelligence will be increased. So that is my spiel, and that's what I feel, and hopefully there will be change like this, and everybody can be on the same page. And not everybody will go, not everybody will progress with the Black community, but I feel like majority of our people will. Somebody just has to start the fire, because I feel like everyone's a little timid right now because of everything that's happening. But if 2026 we surface these and resurface them and understand what it is, then I feel like we could be closer to liberation.